Okay, folks, welcome back to Sunset Falls. This is going to be a relatively quick one. Our main goal today is simply to connect these two roads, or highways rather, right, to our multi-level bridge. So what's going to make this difficult is that this bridge has two lanes of traffic going each direction on each level. So overall, we have 4 lanes of traffic going one way and 4 lanes of traffic going the other way. Over here, we have 3 lanes of traffic going each way. So we have to convert each of these 3 lanes to 4-lane highways and then split each of those highways into one going on the top level and one going on the bottom level. Full disclosure, I have not tried this yet, so we're just going to roll with it and see what happens, and I hope that this works out. So first things first, I think we want to pull this 2-lane highway and connect the 2-lane highway on multiple levels here. So I think it's going to be easier to start here because we're going to know how much space we have to work with, right? And I'm going to actually start. No, I take the back already. Let's convert these into 4-lane highways first and then see how that goes. So we want these 4-lane highways, and we're going to continue to kind of keep that curve and then line them up just slightly right and left of center. So let's see. No, actually, I take that back. Let's use the parallel road tool here. And we want to just use, I thought there was a way to, same as selected. Okay, so we want to turn this into the 4-lane highway up here. Oh my gosh, the scrolling right now. Actually, I think you can type in it before. Nope, you can't do that. So we're going to scroll for years here. Okay, 8 years later, I think we're in a good spot. I'm going to separate these by 10 and see what this looks like. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I see it didn't actually complete registering this here. So we're going to separate these by 10. And I think that'll be close to enough. We can actually go back. All right, so it's not. Maybe try 15 or 20. Maybe it's 20. Not 100% sure how these roads are split up. It looks like 20 will probably do the trick here. We're going to try to just split them a little bit here. Let's say that. There we go. And that looks pretty damn close. So I'm just going to pull this back and then unuse parallel line tool here and connect that up. Okay, perfect. So now we have these 4 lanes each going here. So now we're going to take our 2 lanes. And keep in mind, we have 2 lanes going this way and underneath. So we need to actually connect this 2-lane to the top and the bottom, and then this 2-lane to the top and the bottom. So I'm not 100% sure how well this will work. Let's just see. All right, so that'll work just fine. And then I think we're going to have to adjust them. Excuse me, adjust them a little bit. But I actually feel like that worked relatively well as well. Okay, so now let's kind of use Move It to really start splitting these up. So first of all, we're going to curve this and this way out because this intersection is going to be a problem child. So good news first is that I think in terms of levels, the one thing that we do want to do is adjust this level up to the actual height of the bridge itself. So we want to put it up to the object height, right. Let's see if we can catch this note right there. Okay, so now there's a nice kind of gentle sloping here, and we're actually going to increase that sloping. So let's see. We might have to do this on these 2 bridges separately. This may be a horrible idea. We're going to try to slope. Actually, that worked relatively well. All right, so now we just have this kind of one funky looking node here. We might actually just have to slope this node. I think there's a way to convert this into a sloped node. Actually, I might have to use node controller to do this. I don't know why my UI keeps popping up over there, but we can fix that. That is road marking tool. We want node controller. All right, so let's click this node, change it to slope. Yeah, I'd like to say that that changed a lot. I don't think that it actually did, but that's okay. All right, and then let's, before we forget, take our 4-lane road. Where was it? This one? Yeah, there we go. Okay, and we're just going to flip this one the other way. There we go. And then actually take our 2-lane highway and flip these as well. Okay, so now that looks okay. Excuse me. Another early in the morning recording. trying to keep my voice here. Okay, and then let's, curve that just a little bit. And then we'll actually scooch this whole thing over a little bit there. Okay, so now what we need to do is go in and change some of these lane markings, because while this looks actually a lot better than I expected, we definitely have some circumstances where these are getting a little funky, like specifically right around here. So let's go ahead and start here first. So I took my own advice, and I went and I watched a few videos around how lane markings actually work, right? So that we'd be able to hook these up okay. So some of these are like pretty obvious, right? You're just gonna hook this up, you're gonna change this from dash to solid, boom, we're good, right? There's a few other ones here, you're gonna hook this up. And notice how when it says click to create a line, you can actually change the type of line that you're creating with some modifiers before you select this. So we want dashed here, so that's fine. Ooh, actually, we want long dashed. So let's go back to, I think it's not double dashed. Is there a long dash option? Okay, we'll go with regular dash, that's fine, right? But this dash, right, is actually going to, I think, stay solid. So I'm just gonna hold shift, click on that. There we go. Now that's a solid one, because we wanna indicate that you can't cross over here, right? We're going to do the same thing over here. Although actually, now that I think about it, this line here does not have to be solid. So we can highlight it right here, see the line that we created. Let's just change that to dashed, because it doesn't really matter, right, when they're connecting. So we're going to put that line there. And then this line is going to go right here. Again, maybe, you know what, let's actually force these groups to be separated when they come through here, right? Just to kind of keep our traffic a little bit nicer. We're going to take this. We're also going to set that to solid. So then finally, let's just take one line, solid, connect it right there. So now if we go to our filler section here, we can actually start creating points by holding down Alt. Then you're just going to click all of the points that you want your filler to create. Boom. Okay, now we have a filler. It was that easy. So you can see we have a filler here. We have a few different stripe options. We can set color with everything offset from the median. I was about to say the angle and median is a mangle. And we have all sorts of fun ones. I tend to like the chevron a little bit. I think that looks pretty nice, right? But you could also, again, totally use stripes here. I don't think it really matters that much. I would just kind of look at what works for your situation. Again, look at some real world examples. I made a bad call and I did not look at the real world examples before this. So this looks hideous. Please let me know. But the other things we can also do is, like, these lines look a little bit wonky through here, right? So let's see, is that just because of how the bridge is curving? That's kind of my suspicion, right? You'll notice, however, when I move the bridge, you can see that it's moving our line markings right here. So I think what we're going to do is potentially use node controller here to just kind of stretch this out a little bit. We can pull this bridge up. You'll see how that kind of changes. We can push this section back, kind of set that offset. Maybe we just want to pull this back and stretch this bridge out a little bit. I want to see, can we actually hold this corner, offset this a little bit? I actually think that looks a lot nicer to me. Let's see if we can do the same thing over here. So let's go over here. Let's pull our road back a little bit. Is that about where we ended the other one? Yeah, it's about where we ended the other one. And then let's just take this. Gotta just grab that node there and then just pull this back up, right? So now we have a very similar looking, oh, actually I think this one went back just a little bit here. There we go. And then if we come back over here, yeah, this one went back just a little bit too. Okay, so what we're trying to do is just make it way easier for cars to separate out when they get here. Okay, so now let's apply the lane changes and markings that we did here over here. To do this, what we can do is actually go all the way up to the top here and save this as a preset, right? We're gonna save this as a 4 to 2 lane preset. Boom. Okay, so now when we go over here, let's click on this. We just want to apply our preset. I'm just going to click that little confirmation. Then you'll see right here that it's actually applied beautifully. There's a few things you can do if it doesn't work out that easily, because let's be honest, it never does, right? You can turn your preset clockwise if you need to. You can see it gets a little weird here with how the roads work. But you may also have to reverse it, right? So this is kind of how you can flip it around, especially when you're mirroring things. Things can get a little bit crazy. You can also turn counterclockwise too. So if things don't look quite right, like for these, we got, again, pretty lucky, but we could have had to potentially mirror them or reverse the order. Try fiddling around with these controls a little bit. We'll actually reset this and then apply it, right? So now it's been applied. I don't know how you add a screenshot. That's a good question. Anybody knows? Please let me know. But now that it's been applied, right now, it looks great right there. Just kind of naturally blended in. The only thing I might change, looking at this, is I don't know how I feel about our chevrons and our filler, right? So let's see, what if we try to change our angle in between to -90? There we go. That did reverse them. It looks hideous though, so we're gonna actually take that back, right? My offset from, oh, I see, it just goes down to 0. Oh, this is interesting. So you learn all sorts of fun things here. Actually, you know what? Let's just change these back to stripes. I honestly prefer them to stripes. So let's go back here to our fillers, stripes, boom. Okay, so now we're doing pretty well here. We have our lane guidance working just fine. Let's actually pull up our traffic manager here and check out how lane guidance is working right here. But I think we're doing okay. I'm actually going to move our unified UI down just a little bit. Here we go. So let's look at how lane traffic is working through here. We just want to ensure that people are going to stay in their lanes through here because they have nodes that they can change on in just a little bit, right? So we are totally fine with that. And let's do the same thing over here just to make sure that people kind of stay going where we want them to go. Get that out of our face. Goes there. That goes there. And there's actually, if you wanted to do this a faster way, I believe you can just hit Control S and that automatically sets everything to stay in your lane. That is a Biffa shortcut that he uses all the time that I'm trying to get better at remembering. So let's take a look at our last node here and do some node marking up here. Actually, what I think we're going to want to do first is take our node controller. Let's just stretch this back just a little bit. And let's see, can we pop this around? Actually, let's see if we can match this evenly. Let's make this maybe 14. We'll do the same thing over here. Bump this up to 14. All right, just gonna give me a hard time here, huh? All right, there we go. Okay, so now we can pop up our intersection marking tool and click on this intersection, right? Oh, for some reason we still had node controller on. Intersection marking tool. Boom, here we go. Okay, so let's do exactly what we did previously. Okay, now we're going to go to our fillers and add another filler here just by holding down Alt. Then I'm just going to select all the sections, or all the corners rather, of my filler. Boom, brand new filler. Here we go. Let's see if we want a different angle on these. I don't actually mind the angle here, or actually here. Let's kind of flatten this out and see if that helps. I think that kind of makes sense in terms of, what oncoming traffic would see. Great. So now let's just check that our traffic is going to flow through here nice and well. And I think we just hit Control S, boom, good to go. So now everyone's just going to kind of stay in their lanes after they come across the bridge, right? Okay, so now let's just do that underneath as well, and we should be all set. We're actually going to stretch this one out just a little bit too. I think it might make it a little bit easier for us to kind of see what's going on here. Ooh, that's not what we wanted. Let's reset this entirely. Boom, there we go. You actually want to hold, I think, just that little middle section here. We're going to pull that all the way out to 14 too, just to give ourselves a little bit more room to work with. This is a very tricky section, right? So it's not the end of the world if you're having a hard time with this. Let's see if we can kind of grab these lines and just bring them right back. Give ourselves a little bit more room to work with here, right? This was actually really challenging. I've messed this up a few times. Let's grab this one, bring him all the way back. There we go. Not entirely sure what angle we're working with. Let's go with 36. That looks solid to me. We'll try to replicate that angle over here. 30. Oh, I see. It's not gonna really look the same over here. So let's not worry about it too much. So now we have a lot of space in here to work. I'm gonna close node controller, pop open our segment marker. Again, let's just go through and connect everything up. And let's change that to, oh, it's already on stripes. Perfect. Okay. Now, all we have to do is make sure our traffic runs smoothly here. And I think we are good to go. So this isn't quite as mirrored as I want it to be. So in the words of City Planner, let's make sure that good is the enemy of perfect here and see if we can just wiggle a few of these nodes around to kind of copy what we're doing on the right side, on the left side here. I think we kind of just want to scooch this in just a little bit. I think I'm really loath to mess with this too much. There we go. I think this is okay. One thing we could try, and this might be a little bit aggressive, is we could try aligning these lane ends with node controller. So let's just give this a shot and see what happens, right? So something you can do is if you hold shift, we can try to align these road corners. And I think that actually went the opposite way that we want that to go. So let's actually let's start at this node instead. let's hold shift on this corner. We're going to align it with that corner. Did that just do anything? Let's align it with that corner. And then go down here. Let's take this corner, align this corner. I don't think this is doing anything. Let's try it up here instead. Let's take this corner, align it with this corner. Let's take this corner, align it with this corner. Okay, that actually did get a little bit closer to what I wanted. So then let's grab this. We can't do anything with that. I don't know why this is not aligning the way that we want it to. Let's align that. Because I want to essentially keep the roads coming off the bridge as straight as possible. So let's see if we can grab that corner and align it with that corner. I think something happened. Over here, maybe grab this corner. And oh, there's really nothing to align that corner with, huh? If we align it the other way around. Not really seeing any change. Okay, well, as I said, we don't want to mess it up too much. The only other thing we can do is just kind of unbend that just a little bit. Bring that in. Oh, nope, that's starting to mess it up. Back up. Okay. We'll just scooch this just a titch over, and I think we're okay. Oh. Starting to mess things up. Can we keep it? Well, folks, again, this is what happens when you let perfect become the enemy of good. I managed to completely crash the game, crash my recording software, the whole kit and caboodle. So I have since kind of restructured a lot of what I had and put in some of the final line marking. I want to just give you a quick view of kind of how I tackled this and to get your thoughts on what this looks like. Actually, ironically enough, I have, again, we have 4 lanes going down to 2, and we can actually pop open lane marker and see how that works. Super, super simple, right? We're just drawing straight lines through, and you merge these 2 here. Then we also have expanding out right here. So what I did is you kind of have to make sure that you get your nodes in the right place, and that's what was giving me a hard time, I think. Truth be told, I can't tell you exactly how I fixed it. I just redid this bridge a few times, and that seemed to help. We do still need to slope this a little bit better, to be honest with you, so that is probably something we can start doing. Take this, 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 and this, and just give that a little bit of a nicer slope there, or not, apparently. It's really just these 2. Can I get this up a little bit, and then maybe we want to slope that as well, actually, with our node tool. Slope that. There we go. That actually looks way better. Okay, I feel a lot better about that. Actually, let's slope this node as well. Okay, much better. Oh man, that's so great. Okay, so the one last comment I wanted to make was the markings here, where you have 3 lanes expand into 4. I went to look up a local intersection in my town that does this, and wouldn't you know it, when Google Maps' satellite went by, that exact spot was under construction. So I'm not 100% sure that this is what it looks like on my exact kind of local highway. But if you have any ideas in terms of how it's supposed to look, I kind of imagine it just going out like this. But to be honest with you, I haven't driven through this section in a little bit. So let me know if this line is actually supposed to connect. That was the one other thought I had, is like, well, maybe this line is supposed to go here, kind of keep traffic in that lane. But on retrospect, I don't think that that's true. So we're going to remove that line. So I do want to also note what I did with the traffic here. I'm going to close that. I do have the traffic, at least in this space, expanding. I have these lanes staying, these 2 left-hand lanes staying, and then this 3rd lane expanding in both sides. And the same way down here, where we have 4 lanes merging into 3, we have the 2 left lanes staying the same, and then the 2 right lanes merging down into the same lane. So that's kind of how we handle that here. If we actually play the game, you'll notice that there's no traffic on this bridge, so we can't actually watch someone use it. I did actually wait and watch a little bit to see if anybody would go down this path. We are not quite there yet, but we will be. We just have to have some compelling reasons to actually come across this bridge. And right now, there's not a whole lot out here, right? So next episode, I think what we're going to do is we're going to need to get into expanding our downtown a little bit. I'd like to bring this a little bit more under control from a style perspective. So if you have any tips on district styling, that would be great. That's something I want to tackle. I do want to actually hook up our elevated metro station too. I'm honestly not as thrilled with the metro overhaul mod as I thought I would be. It feels like it's just adding a little bit too much complexity here, and I'm not quite ready for that. The other thing that we're going to be doing very shortly too is once we hit up to our grand city level, I think it might be time to start building our first college too, because we are getting to the point where, from a university education perspective, we have nothing, right? We have 2,000 eligible students. We do have a trade school and a liberal arts college campus. We could put in some sports and some museums. Well, maybe not, right? But we just don't have the university campus area. So I think we have more than enough to begin either of those two kind of over in this area. Whoa, it just got so dark. I don't know how that happened, but a great chance to check out the city at night, see what this looks like. And yeah, so big plans coming along in the future. Thanks for joining me for this video. We will definitely have to do a lot of work over here. Oh wow, that's really interesting. These streetlights look so different. And we don't have any streetlights on the top of the bridge after we go past here. Actually, I think we can fix that. It's the style of bridge. I think we want to use, the lower network does have the streetlights. Interesting. These have streetlights, no streetlights rather. So maybe if I change it to the approach two-way, I'm going to try not to break anything. Let's see what happens. I see. Yeah, it changes it that way. So I wonder where these streetlights come from. What is this then? This is the lower deck one way. So I'm confused now. Can't upgrade to this type. Oh, it's just this section of the bridge because the streetlights continue over here. That is odd. Well, we'll take a look at it later. I think we're going to kind of change how this works anyways and shift this to an elevated highway versus keeping this bridge going the whole time. So let me know what you think. And otherwise, thank you for joining me, and we'll come back to Sunset Falls shortly.